Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wisdom from Bible. Today we'll continue to share to you about the concept of the predestination, both the absolute predestination and the relative predestination. Both of them are true at depends lang kung saan nyo ginagamit. So, bale, in the past video, we have um, shared that the absolute predestination is applied to the will of God. Because God is absolute, His plan is absolute, unchanging, and eternal, then hindi talaga magbabago yung mga plano ng Diyos. So kung ano yung plinano ng Diyos noon, no, na included sa kanyang plano lahat, including everybody, lahat, no? The angels and the human beings and the earth and the plants and the animals, everything is included in the plan of God, and that is unchanging. It will surely be fulfilled. Kaya, absolute ang predestination ng will of God. But the accomplishment is not absolute. It is relative kasi merong portion of responsibility ang tao. So, the accomplishment of God's will can only be fulfilled pag ginawa ng tao yung responsibilidad niya. Diba? So, figuratively, 95% yung responsibility ng Diyos at ang 5% lang yung responsibility ng tao. It may be very small, 5%, pero actually, yung 5% na yan, it will require 100% of our effort in order to fulfill that 5% responsibility. Ganun. So, it is not easy talaga, sa totoo lang. Kasi kung madali lang dapat yan, dapat noon pa nagawa yung will of God. Bakit nagkaroon na ng 6,000 years na biblical years, hindi pa natin nakikita yung original plan of God na yan. Hindi pa na-manifest yung blueprint ng Diyos sa paggawa niya. Hindi pa na-fulfill yun. Hindi pa nakita yung kingdom of heaven dito sa earth. Kung madaling gawin yung portion of responsibility na yan, that means mahirap talaga. It will require 100% of our effort, our faith, our will, emotion, lahat nandun in order to accomplish that responsibility. Okay? Now, we will share din ngayon yung paano naman yung predestination ng tao ng tao ba na pinipili ng God. So, if Adam and Eve did not commit sin, but instead of committing sin, they followed the will of God not to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they would have become the good ancestors. Bale, sila yung ancestors na mumultiply ng mga lahi ng Diyos. Ganon. So, si Adam and Eve, they couldn't do their portion of responsibility. And also, God cannot predestine Adam and Eve to be talagang sila yung magiging perfect sila. God cannot predestine that kasi yung si Adam and Eve, meron silang responsibilidad. They have way. It's either they follow the will of God or not. And if they follow the will of God, they have to use all their emotions, their intellect, their everything para ma-fulfill yun to follow the will of God by their own free will and free action. Yun ang kailangan ng Diyos na tutupad ng responsibility. Ayaw ng Diyos yung napipilitan lang, okay? So, kailangan freely, with love, ang pag-fulfill ng responsibility niya. But Adam and Eve couldn't do that, so, naging evil ancestors sila and they multiplied evil children. Ganun. So, kaya nagtuloy-tuloy yung mga evil Pero, because God's will is absolute, sabi ng Diyos, I have planned and I will do it. Gagawin niya talaga yung plano niya. Kaya, even though Adam and Eve committed sin, hahanap pa rin siya ng another family, instead of Adam's family, he chose Noah's family. Kaya namatay lahat ng mga tao namatay sila sa flood except the family of Noah, and hoping that Noah can fulfill what Adam's family couldn't do. Pero unfortunately, meron ding nangyaring mistake doon sa pamilya ni Noah. Kaya, God has to choose again. So, you see, pag nagkaroon ng mistake sa isang tao, hindi niya nagawa yung kanyang responsibilidad, hindi nag-i-stop ang Diyos. God will not stop doing His will, but He will instead look for another person who is qualified to do that kind of responsibility, that kind of mission sa providence niya, sa will niya. Kaya, tuloy-tuloy yung will niya. So, mga example ng ano natin, example is Moses. Okay, Moses was chosen by God to bring out the Israelites out of Egypt and bring them into the land that he promised, that to the land that he gave them, that is the land of Canaan. So let's look at that Bible verse. Ganun. So now sabi sa Exodus 3:10, God said, "So now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt." So God predestined Moses. Siya yung nagpredestine siya kay Moses na siya yung magbi-bring out sa mga Israelites, kasi matagal na silang naghihirap doon, more than 400 years na, yung less than 300, mga 390 years na silang naghihirap doon sa Egypt. Tapos tinawag niya si Moses na, sige pa, please bring them out. Ganun. Ikaw yung 430 na pala. 430 years na silang naghihirap doon sa Egypt, and he has to call Moses to bring them out. Ganon, at dalhin sila doon sa land of Canaan. So ganon ang isip ng God kay Moses. Pero yung accomplishment niyan, it depends on Moses. So si Moses finally, he could bring out the Israelites out of Egypt, pero hindi niya nadala doon mismo sa Canaan, which was God's purpose, para tinawag niya si Moses para dalhin sila doon sa land of Canaan. Si Moses tinawag niya, para dalhin sila sa land of Canaan. Pero hindi niya nadala. Bakit kaya? Because there is something na nagawa ni Moses na against sa kagustuhan ng God. Okay, so let's look at that one. Dito sa Numbers 27-12, sabi ng God, the Lord said to Moses, kasi at that time is, yung mga Israelites, alam niyo mga Israelites, galing sila doon sa Egypt. They were slaves for more than 400 years. So, yung slave mentality, ganun. Ay, complain sila ng complain pag wala silang pagkain. Wala kaming pagkain. Pag wala silang tubig, wala kaming tubig. Ay, buti pa doon sa Egypt, masarap yung pagkain namin, maski slaves kami. Mga ganun, di ba? So, hindi pa sila masyadong na educate, maybe ganun, hindi pa sila masyadong na turuan, kasi bago pa lang naman silang kaalis doon sa Egypt, di ba? Even though they are the chosen people of God, pero they have been slaves for more than 4. So kung slave ka, hindi ka masyadong creative, di ba? O parang naghintay-hintay ka lang ng kung ano yung ibibigay sa yung pagkain, ano yung ibibigay sa yung bahay, ganun, libre, kasi nag-work ka naman, ganun yung di ba, yung mindset sa slave. So, noong nawalaan na sila ng pagkain, nagko-complain sila. Noong nawalaan sila ng tubig, nagko-complain sila. So, dito, sa time na to, nagko-complain sila because they don't have water. So, dito, the Lord said to Moses, take the staff, and you and your brother Aaron gather the assembly together. Speak to the rock before their eyes, and it will pour out its water. You will bring water out of the rock for the community, so they and their livestock can drink. Okay, so I'll continue nandito sa susunod yun. Meron pa to. The same Numbers din. So Moses took the staff from the Lord's presence, just as he commanded him. He and Aaron gathered the assembly together in front of the rock, and Moses said to them, listen, you rebels. Rebels, ang tawag niya. Listen, you rebels. Must we bring you water out of this rock? Then Moses raised Then Moses raised his arm and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank. Ganun. So, yung rock na yun, let's see here. Kasi, gather the assembly, speak that, and he will bring water out of the rock for community so their livestock can drink. And then, let's look at here. But, dito sa last part, but the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust in me enough to honor me as holy in the sight of the Israelites, you will not bring this community into the land I give them. So, bakit kaya ganun ang sabi ng God? Sa una, you will bring out the Israelites to Egypt. At actually, pag babasahin mo lahat yung numbers, si Moses yung nakatalaga para i-lead nila sila doon sa Canaan. Pero ngayon, sabi ng God na, because you did not trust in me enough to honor me as holy in the sight of the Israelites, you will not bring them to the land I promised to give them. You will not bring the community into the land I give them. So, yun sa sa striking the rock. Kasi, he strike it twice. So, ganon. So, anyway, meron siyang nagawang hindi tama doon sa rock na yun. He strike it twice. Ang utos sa kanya, just strike it once. Anyway, basta, yung pag-strike niya ng twice, ay mali. Sabi ng God, you did not honor me, so you will not bring this community to the land. So, ganon. Merong something na nagawa, kaya hindi talaga siya nakapunta doon sa land of Canaan. Actually, he just saw it with his eyes bago siya namatay. Ganun. Nakita lang niya yung land of Canaan, pero hindi siya nakapunta doon. And then, he chose Joshua to continue that mission. Diba? Ganun. So, merong mga pinipili ang Diyos, pero hindi nila natatapos yung mission nila. So, pipili ang God. God chose Joshua, actually, and then Moses anointed him to become the next leader and bring the Israelites to the land of Canaan. So, sa predestination ng tao, maski God chose a person, at malaki ang possibility that that person will be glorified by God kasi pinili nga siya eh. Pero kapag hindi magawa yung responsibilidad niya, hindi siya, mapapalitan siya, ganun. God will choose another person. Tapos, ang mission pa is medyo lumalaki ng lumalaki. Ganyan. So, ganun yung yung predestination of man. Maski na predestined ka to become one of the central figures. Ang tawag natin sa kanila ay central figures. Mga third persons whom God had been using directly para i-guide yung kanyang providence dito sa earth. Yun ay central figure. So, ganun yung yung nakikita natin dito na predestination of man. God predestines man only 95%. Kasi yung 5% gawin muna niya, yung responsibility niya bago yung predestination ng God's will sa kanya ay matupad, okay? So, ganun. Kaya dito. Ito naman, yung si Judas Iscariot. Judas Iscariot was initially chosen to be one of the apostles of Jesus Christ. na magtuturo ng mga ano ni Jesus Christ, ganon. But, Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus Christ. Kaya, hindi natupad yung plano ng Diyos para kay Judas. Ang ganda sana ng plano ng God para sa kanya. God also called him to become one of the apostles of Jesus. Pero hindi niya natupad yung kanyang responsibilidad to be loyal, to protect Jesus Christ. Instead, he betrayed Jesus Christ. Ganon. Kaya, napalitan siya ng iba. Ganon. So, God cannot choose Judas again kasi na-failed na siya. But instead, God will choose another person to continue yung mission na binigay niya kay Judas. Kaya pag nagkamali ang isang tao sa kanyang responsibility, hindi niya nagawa, yung mission na yun, tutuloy pa rin sa ibang tao na. Kagaya si Matthias. Kaya dito, so they nominated two men, Joseph called Barsabas, also known as Justus, and Matthias. And then they prayed, Lord, you know everyone's heart. Show us which of these two you have chosen to take over this apostles' ministry ba yun? The apostles' ministry, which Judas left to go where he belonged. Then they cast lots, and the lot fell to Matthias. And so, he was added to the 11 apostles. Ganun. So ganun, kasi nag-fail si Judas, kaya napalitan siya ng ibang tao, ibang person, pero the same ng mission. Okay? So, ganun yung predestination ng God sa tao. And then, also the Israelites, ito. The Israelites were chosen by God. Chosen nation. Israel pala, Israel. Israel is a chosen nation of God. Yung dating Canaan. Actually, yung Canaan is what was divided into two. Ganon. Na-divide siya into two. Yung 10 tribes naging faithless. They worship Baal, Asherah, mga iba-ibang God. Ganon. Pero yung Judah, they kept their faith in God. Medyo na faithless din yung Judah, pero bumabalik sila, ganun. They are repenting. And then, that became yung maliit na yon, yung dalawang tribe, yun yung naging Israel ngayon. Maliit na lang yung Israel. So, bali, Israel is a chosen country. Chosen country where the kingdom of heaven will start first on earth, di ba? So, kailangan kasi ng Diyos ng land. Kailangan niya ng isang lupa na doon siya mag-i-start ng kingdom of heaven. At doon dumating si Jesus Christ sa Israel. So, Israel was chosen to become the landing site for God's kingdom on earth. Pero, anong nangyari sa Israelites? When Jesus Christ was born, yung pinakahihintay nilang Savior nila, pinatay nila. They killed Him. Ganon, they crucified Him. Kaya sabi ni St. Paul, dito sa 1 Corinthians 2:8, none of the rulers of this age understood it. For if they had, they would not crucified the Lord of glory. So, bali, nagkamali din yung Israel. So, pag nagkamali ang Israel, anong mangyari? God will choose another country. Di ba? Ganon. So, kaya nga, sabi doon sabi sa Bible nga, do not think that you are the descendants of Abraham because God can make Abraham's children out of the stones. O, di ba? So, God can choose another person pag failure. God can choose another country pag nag-failure din yung country niya sa kanyang nation. So yun ang natin, yun ang share natin ngayon na ang predestination ng Diyos para sa mga tao na central figure, yung mga ginagawa niyang leaders ng kanyang providence ay 95% lang, hindi siya 100%. Hindi ibig sabihin na kapag pinili niya tayo, pinili ka niya, o ikaw ang ikaw ang mag-apostol, o ikaw ang mag-leader sa ganito, o ikaw ang mag-ganito. Hindi ibig sabihin na 100% ka nang magiging successful. No. Because you still have your 5% portion of responsibility to do. Kasi, meron niyang kaakabay na 5% responsibility before you can really become successful central figure of God. Okay? So, ganun ang importante natin maintindihan ngayon na kapag pinili tayo na maging isa sa mga instrumento ng Diyos to fulfill His providence, fulfill His dispensation, fulfill His work on earth. Pag napili tayo, it does not mean na 100% safe na tayo, no? Meron pa tayong responsibilidad. Tingnan niyo si John the Baptist. Do you remember anong nangyari kay John the Baptist? John the Baptist was prepared since birth, even before birth. Alam na ng mga tao na John the Baptist is a very important person. They were even waiting, they are even thinking he might be the Messiah. Diba? At saka, napaka-holy niya. Kung tingnan mo siya, napaka-holy. Kasi, nagpa-fasting siya, and nagpipreach siya. Ang father niya ay priest. Ganon, ministering the will of God. Ganon. So, napaka-special niya na John the Baptist. And ang mission niya is to prepare the way for Jesus Christ. Pero it does not mean na 100% predestined siya to become successful. Predestined siya to fulfill the will of God. No, because he has still a 5% portion of responsibility that he has to do. Kaya nga yung 5% portion of responsibility na yan is 100% effort. Kailangan natin ng emotion natin, ng intellect, kailangan intindihan natin will to do the will of God, and emotion. Lahat yun, intellect, will, and emotion, kasama yan sa 100% response, 100% effort to do our 5% portion of responsibility. Kaya nga, maski si John the Baptist na well-prepared by God, si John the Baptist na nakakakita ng vision that Jesus Christ is the Messiah, nakareceive siya ng revelation that Jesus Christ is the Messiah. Hindi pa rin niya nagawa yung part niya. Very difficult talaga yung 5% na yan. Very difficult. For a central person, very difficult to do the portion of responsibility. Kasi ang mga central figure ng Diyos ay gusto niyang absolute. Absolutely, they have to follow. If they magliko lang sila ng sandaling kaunti lang, ma-feel ka na talaga. Very strict ang Diyos. Kaya nga meron akong, sabi nila, yung mga ginagamit ng Diyos, sa kanyang providence, napaka-stricto ng Diyos sa kanila. Kaunting mali lang, meron silang malaking parusa. Kagaya si Abraham, example. Si Abraham, di ba sabi ng Diyos sa kanya, please cut, mag-offer ka, tapos hatiin mo silang half. O di nag-offer naman siya. Kung ano yung requirement ng God, He offered. Ang requirement ng Diyos, mag-offer ka ng cow. Yung dalagang baka, calf. Tapos, she-goat and a ram. Tapos, dove and pig yun. Sabi ng Diyos sa kanya, hatiin mo. Half from head to tail, kalahati. So, una niyang hinati yung baka. Hinati niya gano'n. Wala pa naman sigurong mga instrument na kagaya ngayon kapag i-cut mo may electric gano'n, hati kagad. Noon, by their crude siguro pa yung mga tools noon, di ba? So, it took long time for him to cut siguro yun. Tapos, yung she-goat, yung goat at saka yung ram, he also cut. Pero hindi kinat yung birds na maliit na ganyan. Maliit lang siya, hindi niya cut. Hindi niya kinat. Anong parusa niya doon? Sabi ng God, because you did not believe in me, your descendants will suffer for 400 years in a foreign land. Magiging slaves yung kanyang descendants. Hindi pa nga naipanganak. Yung descendants niya, magsasuffer na sila for 400 years. Ganun ka-stricto ang Diyos sa mga central figures niya. Kaya napakahirap gawin yung 5% responsibility sa mga central figures. Very strict ang Diyos sa kanila. kagaya si Moses. Sabi ng God, strike the rock once. Strike mo rin yung rock. Tapos 2 beses niya in-strike. Pang! Pang! Ganun. Out of anger, siguro. Ganun, I don't know. Pero 2 beses niya. Kasi nagagalit na si Moses. Pati nga yung tablet stone, di ba? Binato niya. Ganun, di ba? So, yung striking the rock twice is not good for God. Is already against God. Di ba, simple lang sana naman yun. In-strike naman niya, lumabas din yung tubig, ganun. Pero twice niya in-strike. And because of that, he cannot enter the land of Canaan himself. So, yung mga ganung example sa Bible, we have to understand that the central figures have very, very difficult time. Kasi, hindi sila pwedeng lumihis ng kahit 0.001% lang. Kasi pag lumihis sila, mafe-failure sila. May mga lumilihis, pero nagre-repent ka agad. For example, David. Si King David, di ba? Kamali ako, patawarin niyo ako, ganun. Yung si Bathsheba, ganun. So, anyway, yung mga central figures, stricto ang Diyos sa kanila. Tapos sabi din sa iba, sa mga hindi central figure, sa mga tigasunod doon sa central figures, yung mga sumusunod, kapres natin, we're following some central figures, ganun. Para sa atin, God is very patient. Very patient. God is very slow in anger. God is very slow, ganun, very patient sa atin. Hihintay niya tayo kahit ilang ulit tayo magkasala. Hihintay niya tayo na mag-repent, na magsisi. Compared doon sa mga central figures niya. Compared doon sa mga, yung mga pinili niya. Mahirap talaga. Mahirap. Okay, so, I still have some few things to, i-share you. Yung ngayon, yung central figures na yon, central figures. So, ang central figure, before God choose them, meron na silang, nakikita na ng Diyos kung saan sila galing. First, kailangan galing sila sa chosen people. Kasi, yung chosen people na yun, yung pinoprotektahan ng God. If you look at the Bible, God is protecting the lineage from Jacob. Si Jacob, yung 12 sons niya, ganun. Tapos, from the 12 sons na pili yung lahi ni Judah to continue, mga ganun. Anyway, yung 12 sons na yun, these are the chosen lineage of God, the chosen people of God. So, that central figure must belong to the chosen people. Tapos, from among the chosen people, merong mga ancestors na gumawa ng kabutihan, na magaganda yung mga record nila. Example nga si Judah. Diyan dumating yung lineage ni Jacob, ni David, at saka dumating sa ni Jesus Christ. Doon sa pang-apat na anak ni Jacob, si Judah. Ganun. So that chosen person must belong to the chosen people. The chosen person must belong to a tribe that has good ancestors. Tapos, pangatlo, kailangan siya din yung i-choose, yung pipiliin ng Diyos. Meron din siyang yung parang leadership skills or disposition to do the mission na ipapagawa ng Diyos sa kanya. Kailangan may ganun siya. Tapos, ang pang-apat, siya din meron siyang good natures, good qualities. And last, dapat nakatira siya doon sa place kung saan kailangan yung work of God at saka sa time na kailangan ng work ng Diyos na yon, so ng mission na yon. Okay, so he must be living in the right time and the proper place and the proper time. He must have a good nature, a good attitude, at saka meron siyang leadership disposition to fulfill that mission. Tapos meron siyang good ancestors doon. Dapat yung tribe niya nakagawa ng mabubuti. Tapos yung belong to the chosen nation. So, yun yung mga nakikita natin dyan sa Bible na 5 qualifications ng mga pinipili ng Diyos to fulfill the will, to become the central figure sa kanyang providence. Okay, so, meron siyang mga qualifications before God will choose the person. So, ganun. Kaya yung mga pinipili niya, makikita niyo, ganun yung mga qualification. Yung mga pinipili ng God, tinatawag niya to do something para sa kanyang providence, para sa magkaroon siya ng, yung may mission siya to fulfill God's will. Okay? So, yun ang ano natin. So, basta importante ngayon na intindihan natin na kapag tinawag ka, if you are qualified to become the central person of God, you cannot, hindi mo pwedeng isipin na magiging successful ka talaga. Kasi, not until you do your 5%. Ano ba yung mission mo? Example nga si John the Baptist, ang mission niya is to connect the Israelites to the Messiah, to Jesus Christ. Okay? The Israelites can easily accept Jesus Christ through John the Baptist. Kung gawin niya yon, then okay siya. King of heaven siya. Pero hindi eh. Sabi ni Jesus Christ, the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than John the Baptist. Why? Because he could not fulfill his mission. Ganun din yung mga central figures. Pag hindi natin ma-fulfill, for example, central figure tayo, pag hindi natin ma-fulfill, we'll become very, very low. We'll fall down. Talagang very serious ang central figures. Yung mga napipili ng Diyos. Yung mga napipili. So, before na mapili sila, may mga qualification yan. Ang hirap-hirap magpili, ang hirap-hirap maghanap ng ganung tao. Ganun. Pag tinawag siya ng Diyos, very serious siya dapat kasi pag hindi, malaki ang parang napakabigat ng parusa kung central figures ka. Okay? If you are one of those called by God. Okay, so, yun lang, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.